Okay, let's go. Welcome back to me trying to do this Unity stuff. Another episode of this. Alright, let's just see. Let's just get right into it. So what did we do last time? I think last time we just slapped together a bunch of stuff and we just looked at packs. And right now we wanna try to get these scripts to work. And we don't really know where direction we're going in, so we're going to need to do a little bit more thinking here. So yeah, we were trying to make a monster controller to see what the heck we're going to do with this. Because it's going to have a bunch of data that, we want to store in. And yeah, so let's see what we're going to do. So one thing that we want to do is see if there's okay, I think let me just do some Googling right now. Okay, so this is what we have currently, the monster controller. Now, I don't really know what direction we're gonna go in with this, but for now, we're just gonna have this be in here for now. So let me do some research. Hmm. All right. So, okay, so let me go back to this. And let's just do some thinking. So currently, if we just click play, we have a guy who can just move up and down, left and right, generic stuff. Yeah, there we go. And he is pretty slow. We definitely want to change his movement speed to maybe like 5. And there we go. Now he's moving a little bit faster. Let me just pause this real quick. Yeah, okay. So we want to be able to give this monster controller some stats as well. And it's gonna be the exact same stat probably the player is also using. Okay. So I guess for now we're going to monsters the exact same stats as the other guys. So okay, one more thing I'm seeing here is this is not gonna do much because I'm not gonna get any this gonna work. So let me change what editor I'm using. 'Cause I don't know why it always switches back into the wrong editor. All right, now let's get back into it. Okay, so let's get this started. So now that we're in here, we want to copy pretty much everything here and just give it to the monster. Right, because it's pretty much gonna have the exact same stats. And we definitely want some way to control this. But anyway, now that we have this going, we want to. Okay, so it has some interface that we can activate. So we definitely want to give this dude some rigid body. Right. Let's give this dude a rigid body. Wrong rigid body. Give him a 2D rigid body. That way we can access his stuff. And we are going to call the body. Seems like it's wanting me to do this. I'm not really sure if it should be public or private. I think it should be private, right? And that should give us the rigid body. But what else do we want to do with this information, man? So even though it has that rigid body, we do want to give it some information. We need to be able to set up interactions between these two, which I'm thinking of adding another class that would manage that for us, but we first do need some functions to work in here for that's a thing. Okay, so we need to increase the index here. Yeah, we also probably need to get rid of gravity. You're not gonna get gravitized here. There we go. Look at this dude. Now I don't like the fact that I can go through him. So he definitely needs to have uh some box gliders. Definitely want to transform this somehow. I want to scale this. Right. That is not what I meant to do. How do I scale just the collider box? There we go. Edit geometry. Just give it a box for now. I think that should work. And might also need to give the player a box collider so that we don't collide into him either. Yeah, that's probably a good idea. So you see, that allows us to not collide with each other. There we go. No collision anymore. Okay. Now, one thing is that we are getting a knockback effect here by just touching him, which isn't what we want, and also for some reason rotating. No, that's pretty weird. We don't really want that sort of knockback effect. I guess it's possible by just not giving you a rigid body. If I turn that off, what will happen? I think if I turn you off rigid body, then you just become a box. Then there's no more knockback effect. Yeah, like I thought. So I don't know why my character is rotating like that, though. But we're not gonna worry about that right now. So let's just worry about the effects we're gonna do with each other. We want to give this guy the script. We're also going to rename this thing. So what needs to happen is this guy needs to have some sort of controller logic, right? We're also not going to use this anymore, I guess. Maybe, I don't know. We'll just keep that out for now. So what do we want to start with? We want to start with some sort of damage system, right? And we already think, I think I already know what the damage is going to be, but I need to implement the collision sort of thing. We need to give both the player and the monster to do damage to down. Let's see. Don't really know how to logically design this, right? Because we want to give players skills, or maybe not skill, weapons, or anything really. Let's say that he can equip weapons, right? He has the ability to equip weapons. But if he does, he needs some sort of inventory. So that means that we need to give this dude an inventory. So let's give the player an inventory. What you need. So let's create another script. I think it should be a class called inventory. Let me Google name. Wait, do we need namespace for this? I don't think we need namespace for this. Let me just keep it like this. So what is this inventory going to have? Well, first let's give it a constructor. So let's say it's public inventory. We don't really know what we want in here just yet. But this inventory guy should have some list of items, right? So we need to give it a list of items. So which means that we also need to implement a weapon class, right? So let's make a weapon class, I think. So let's make an item base class, make everything inherit from that. I think that's what we want. And, okay, and I think item should really be a abstract class, maybe. Get rid of these two brackets. And we want to make a weapon class. And what we want is obviously a constructor. And let's talk about what a weapon should have, right? It's first of all, it should inherit from inventory. Not inventory, item. And a weapon should technically have these sort of stats. It should have an attack stat. We're not gonna worry about durability for now, because that's just like not worth doing until later. To public int, is it float attack? And I mean we're just gonna initialize it to like a 0. And we can put this in the instructor really. Float attack. This dot attack is equal to attack. Guess it should be private technically. No, let's make it public. I don't really care. Because we don't we want to like make stuff from it? Maybe. For now, we're just gonna talk about attack. You have weapons with attack stat. There's an item. I don't even know what item should really have, to be honest. I mean, it'll make some things easier later on. But anyway, so inventory. Inventory should be just a straight list of items, I believe. Yeah, I think we should just have a list. So we have items. So it should be public. I feel like this should be private, right? Items. Private item list. items. I mean, I guess in a way we should probably make this not public and probably just private. And if that's the case, we have to change to attack, right? Okay. So I guess the problem here is now we don't, I mean, we know that it can contain items, but how is it going to know that when we use some sort of, attack? Because there's no way to convert it back to a weapon without knowing what it is. So yeah, that is going to get pretty confusing. Okay. So how do we think about this, right? So now we have an inventory, and inventory can hold weapons and items. And weapon is technically an item. So this is kind of pretty confusing here. So what to be able to add item? What if item is not a abstract class, right? And it's just a regular class that we can interact with. And and we know that this weapon has an attack stat. Now that I'm thinking about it, I think we really should have a stat class too, but I don't want to make it too complicated, right? Because then things will have different stats, and that's really what we're probably heading towards at this point. I think we should really be using interfaces at this point. Like instead of doing raw manipulation, we should have interfaces that do this for us. That way we don't have to do this weird looking thing. So yeah, I think what we should do is create interfaces. So like a stat interface or stat interface will mean that you must provide a stat. Yeah, this is just getting confusing now. Okay, I think we need to draw some things a bit. But before that, I wonder if there's any way to access these functions outside in here, right? I mean, the first thing we need is inventory. Otherwise, we can't really even do any sort of attack. Because in order to attack, you need to have a weapon or an item to attack. Unless you have the punch ability. That's just your interest. Let's do this. Anybody who has a system. So let's see how people do this online, right? So we have enum, okay. We can extract data from away from stuff. We have an item base. So okay, it makes sense. An item should have a name. And whoa. So I have never seen this before. So let me see if somebody can explain this for me. So it looks like some sort of getter init function allows you to do weird things to it. Explain syntax. C#. There you go. Accessor properties for the property. Get this is getter. It allows you to retrieve the property when you read the name. It returns when you read the name, it returns the value. In it, the feature allows initial object to set the value during object initialization. Is there a setter version of this? What the heck is this? Private setter. What is this? Is this like arrow functions? Oh, I think it just means return this. And this is saying do this. What is Anyway, this looks pretty cool. So let's just ignore that and let's keep going. So yeah, an item base. That's a better name than what I was giving it beforehand. Oh, okay. That's a good naming convention too. Item, medical, item, armor, and item, weapon. All right, so how are these items being used? Oh, okay. This is really, really cool. So instead of using like a list, I think it's telling us to use a dictionary or maybe even a set. But I think the dictionary is maybe what it's going for. But then again, if we do use a dictionary, it wouldn't really work because it only allows you to have unique items, so that doesn't 100% work. Yeah, baby. Dude, define equipment's a backpack like this. What is the syntax? Is it saying that's what should be in it? That's what it's saying. And this is saying you have a list of item base and it's called a backpack. What is instance function? Oh, is that function? Is this? I mean, this is very intuitive, I guess. But um I think we're just gonna have to create our own version. But I do like this part, so we're gonna add that in right now. item base, right? And it's going to have a name. I think that's pretty obvious, right? Protected. Let's take a look at how you're doing this. Actually, you can just make it public. Do this get init and set. And because we do need a name, let's get rid of this for now. Yeah, I think we should just keep that and just give it init. But for some reason, it doesn't like init, which doesn't make sense. Oh, must be defined or imported. Does not really tell me much. Yeah, I probably need to know a little bit more about C# to be doing this. Honestly, whatever, let's just use set. And now we're from item base. I think that's all we need for now. So now if I do that, that looks like it's gonna work. Okay. So now that we have that, I guess we should also call it item weapon. But let's just keep it like this. Maybe item base isn't all that necessary. That's whatever. Hey, you know what? You're Okay. So let's talk about weapon. It's going to have an stat. And we need a way to be able to convert an item to a weapon, which is my current question. But I don't really know how to do that without making it completely overcomplicated. Right. Let's see if there's any other systems that we can. I guess we should use a list instead of a array in this case. That's what it looks like everybody's using. So. And really, I'm just going to change this back into item. It doesn't make sense to call it item based. At least not to me. Let me see if Bing's got a better idea of how to do this. So I don't think I know the design for this task. And inventory. I'll just get rid of this topic. And C# create an inventory class that can hold objects of type item. The item is the base class. Weapon is a is a subclass. Item class. There will be other and create a system that will allow me to convert items back into the subclass class theme listed. Whoa. That's typecasting. Not typecasting, it's using template. That's what it's doing. Okay, okay. This is the system what we're talking about. If you use a template, right, then we can just tell it what it is if we know what it is, right? This makes a lot more sense. But to do that, okay. Well, at least I get the idea now, so we don't have to worry too much about this stuff. Just set it as, just make it normal. So let me get rid of this. Why is player models this here? We don't need this anymore. So here's what we're thinking of, right? Get out of here. Get out of here. So we have an inventory. Inventory has the ability to get item. But we need a different ways, right? We need to get item from the position. Public get what? This is a real function, apparently. Let me look again at what you wanted to do. Public TT. So we want to see how this is gonna work. We retrieve item based on the index rather than because we know exactly what the position is at. So get item, we need an index. And we just return how do we typecast it to this? Is so if right if list well items dot I can't do it like this. So, how does that exactly work? So we definitely want to give this inventory some features. We'll start with add in. Let's do public add. But then we had to uh maybe not add item, right? We probably want to set item. Set item. We want to say give it an index, give it the item. We just want to do item Oh, that doesn't work exactly because we don't know the size of the inventory. We can only add. So maybe this is the wrong approach altogether. Maybe we should just focus on add and whatever, right? Shouldn't worry about, shouldn't really worry about this. Uh, maybe not set item. Set item doesn't make too much sense. Okay, now this is getting real confusing. Hmm. Okay. What do I do here? Because how do we retrieve this item later? I mean, I'm thinking of using a array, I guess, instead of I guess list doesn't make too much sense either. We really just want a space with initialized amount of space. So maybe we don't really need a list exactly. We can just use the regular array. Okay, let's just do 10 items for now. Okay. So now that we have that settled, we want to make this. I want to add inventory to my boy here, player controller. Okay. Probably really do want a player model to do this instead of doing it like this. If we do, we won't be able to move our slides. Kind of why we don't want to do that. Instead, we probably want a script to do that for us. All right, for now, we're just gonna create inventory. So let's go back in here and let's just give it a random item for now. Let's do set item 0 to new weapon. And actually, we want to give that into the constructor. And actually, what if we give this a constructor too? Okay. Public item. Why would I make this protected? No, to we already have that. Yeah, this makes no sense. Never mind, I take it back. Let's just do this. How do I make this super attack? I think we just do this to this thing. We don't really need to do that. We just do this. Unless make this all optional. Do the attack of 5. That should work. And I think now were to do anything with it, you should be able to do it. We also need like an on-hand item. So when you tell it what's on hand, right? So what is currently on hand? On hand, and we're just gonna give it I don't like this naming convention. I'm gonna say on hand is equal to probably want something simple, right? Let's see. So right now we need to get inventory another function that doesn't do this, right? We want to give it the exact same function but with different type. So now we can call both versions, right? Get an item as our offhand. Then we want a attack function. So how's this attack function gonna work? So if we on click, well, let's just make the functions first. How about that? How do we want to do this? I think what we should do is really, I mean, we could make a whole battle system, right? And we just call the battle system to do something. Because that would make a lot of sense, really. I think we should get a interface that both of this is going to inherit from. That's for sure what we want to do, I believe. Because it needs to be able to set hit points, subtract hit points, and all that other stuff, right? But I don't believe controller should really have any base logic like this. I believe what we should do is separate this out into steps. But for now, we are probably just gonna stick to it for now. Yeah, we definitely want an interface here. So we want an interface called character. Or maybe character doesn't make too much sense. Because we also want NPCs too. Maybe we should call it like a combat character. Character status in combat. That character is set hit points. Set hit points. Set set hit points. Set attack. Yeah, okay. Thinking that we should definitely have stats in a separate class because this is gonna get very complicated if we're trying to do it like this. Yeah, this is really confusing because we definitely want something like this. So I think that we should keep this for now. Set point, set tech. Set defense. Do we also want get too? Because now we have to make functions for getters, which makes a very, very painful task to do. Well, let's just keep this for now. Syntax speed. We also want getter functions for each of these. So let's just do this actually. And for this, we definitely want be all floats. And that should be it. So now if we set this to you, we will now be forced to implement all of this, which I wish it would let me do. There we go, implement missing function. Now those are copy this over. Player controller. maybe we should model of all of this junk. So we can just pass the model instead of uh, this sort of stuff. Because the controller is, yeah, I think we should really do that. Controller should not be doing this. Uh, yeah, I think this isn't the best system. The system is gonna be flooded if I do this, right? I don't want to do this like this way. What I'd rather do is just to create the class, right? The player model instead of doing it like this, because this is, I mean, it's doable, but it's not making much sense to me. I'd rather do it the other way. So I'm gonna wipe this out. And yeah, this is what I'm going to do. Let's do this. So we are going to create a new interface. We're gonna call it character model, or really just the stat, right? Because it's gonna have all the statistics that it needs to have. So we don't really need to do all of this in theory. So character model. Right. Character stats. Also a thing. Rather than model stats. Character stats. That way we can just pass this into the combats and you don't really have to worry about anything else. But at the same time, if we do that, it will need to update everything every single time, right? And because if we change these outer scopes code, then it won't really do well because we have to reinstantiate the character class every time. I have to change the every single time, and we don't really want to have that going on either. Because I don't want to combine these two logic together. Right? Play controller shouldn't really care about your hit point stats and really any data whatsoever. But I guess since we're doing this in Unity, I guess we can't do that. Maybe I'm just overthinking it. Maybe you're right. Maybe I am overthinking it. And I should just keep what I was doing before. Right? Should have all this. Let's just do this. think we should keep this actually. There's not much we can do, but it's fine. But now that we have this, we can make a combat system. So, combat system. Because that's what we really wanted, right? A combat system. But at the same time, how will we even do this, right? What would the combat system want? Because we definitely need some sort of skill set. Let's just make this for now. And here's how the combat system is going to work. It doesn't need a constructor. It's just going to contain functions that we want. You're going to public static, right? Void. And we're going to have a attack function. Or, yeah. So we're going to have a function like this. So how are we going to do this? All right. So it's going, we're actually, you know what, let's instantiate this and make it so every character is going to need a combat system. So here's what we're gonna do. So we're gonna get iCombat. We're gonna make every character have a combat system. Or maybe I'm just stupid. We don't need to do that. Let's just do it like this. So we have a void function. And we call it attack, right? And we also want a constructor. Public combat system. And then we want a iCombat character. Also want this. Private character. And we just want a target in this case. It's gonna be another one of these. And we're just gonna make this super basic right now. In the future, we're gonna add skill, and that's gonna take care of everything for us. For now, we're just gonna make it really simple. Let's give this character. Let's just make it a really simple system. At the top, we want, instead of character, we want this to be called let's just keep it this. What in the world? I just want to say, oh, because it's static. We don't want to make it static. I lied. Character. This character is going to do target dot set hit points to max. Choose dot max, right, 0 and we don't want to do this on one line. So let's do this. This stuff. Let's do calculations, right? So calculate damage. So load damage is going to equal to target dot get attack, not target character. This character dot attack. Right. And target character. And we want to give it a max function between this and 0. So then what we want to do is when you set the hit point to target dot get hit points. Let's do this. Remaining hit point equal to. We don't want to do this out one line. That's gonna be very ugly. And we're gonna clamp this between a max function as well. Target go. Now this is our returning hit points. We can just use bar instead. This actually looks like it's going to be pretty well. So now we have an attack function that a combat player can use. So this is pretty good. Okay, so now we need a way to trigger this, right? And this is what I would do with collision. But I think we'll work on collision probably next time. So what we need really is a model, character model or weapon model, right? Maybe we should do this the opposite way, right? And have the model be the one holding the controller, rather than the controller holding the model. But that would make a lot of sense, to be honest. Because then we don't need all this junk. So the model should hold the controller, is what I'm saying. Anyway, I think I'm just overthinking it, and this is all cool. We needed weapons, right? I feel. Yeah, I don't really know. think we'll hold this on for today and we'll move on for next time. We did pretty progressive stuff, and we want to move this forward in the next step. And I don't know about next time. I think we definitely want a weapon spray, weapon models, and that way we can do some stuff to the enemy, right? Anyway, because we're gonna have to deal with collision and all that stuff later. So yeah, we'll get back to this in the future. All right, let's for now. Have a good one, guys. Goodbye.